This meeting is being recorded.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Sada Shiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryandam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Kukarasvandhakaro Vai Rukarastannivartakaha Andhakara Nirodhitvat Gururityavidiyate Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahi Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahi Om Shanti 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 Om Bhadrangarne Vishnuyama Devaha Bhadram Bashye Makshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangihi Stushtvagum Sastanobhi Vishema Devahi Tanjadayuhu Swasti na Indra Vruddhashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti na Starksho Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brihaspatir Dadhatu Om Shanti 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 Om Prajnanam Shukpradhanaihi Sthiracharanikarvyapivirvyapya lokan Bhuktva bhogan stavishtan Punaravidishanodbhasitan Kamajanyan Hitva sarvan viseshan Swapiti madurabhung mayaya bhojayannaha Maya sankhyaturiyam paramamritamajam Brahmayattanatosmi Yo Vishwatma Vividha Vishayan Prasya Bhogan Stavishtan Paschaschanyan Swamati Vibhavan Jyotisasvena Sukshman Sarvanetan Punarapishanaihi Swatmani Stapayitva Hitva Sarvan Viseshan Vigata Gunaganaha Patvasunasturiyaha. So I will take some inputs today. We haven't really had any quiz questions for the last few weeks. Just as a feedback from the last 2 or 3 classes, I just want to hear from you. If there are areas that you could not understand, you wanted a little bit more light on, so that I can spend some time on those. So please use the chat and just give me some inputs on if there are any areas that you felt was very difficult to understand in the last 2-3 sessions that you want me to spend some time on. Okay, well, just use the chat in the next 1 minute I'll give you. So give me your inputs. Based on it, then I'll take it forward. Yeah, please go ahead. Please use the chat and give me any specific inputs. Okay. Reincarnation. Okay. So we haven't spoken anything on reincarnation. So for now we will wait, because the context is not there. So my thing is, at some context we'll talk about it, because otherwise it will be totally out of context to talk reincarnation. So anything on Prajnanam Shukprathanehi, the context of Mandukya, the Karika, or the sloka of Shankaracharya, anything that you felt, is very difficult, Can you share the link for the text that we are using so we can follow the text itself? Okay, sure. I will send you. So this has, I wanted to get only the one with Shankara Bhashya alone, because this one that I got had some other vrittis. That's why I was trying, but I'll send you this link. Yeah. So for now, start with this, but I was thinking if we can get a plain book which has only Shankara Bhashya, then it will be much easier. Here you have to just skim through the vritti to find out which is the Bhashya and which is vritti. But that's okay. That's the only thing I got online. So I'll send you that. Meanwhile, I'll continue to search for something which has only Bhashya. I'll do that, yeah. Okay, I presume there is no other question. With that as base, okay, thank you. Unfortunately, I was not able to join the previous sessions because I didn't get the link. Kindly, before proceeding, can you give overview of what has been covered? Okay, I'll do that. Vidhimika Shloka is the gist of Upanishads. It needs to be studied again to understand the deep meaning behind the words. Okay, I will give a summary of that again today because somebody also asked for it. We will do that. Okay. All right. Okay, let's get started. You could rephrase. Okay, fine. Okay. Om Prajnanam Shupratani Sthirachara Nikara Vyapibhir Vyapya Lokan Bhuktva Bhogan Stavishtan Punarapi Dishana Udbhasitan Kamajanyan Pitva Sarvan Viseshan Swapiti Madurabhuk Mayaya Bhojayannaha Maya Sankhya Turiyam Paramam Ritam Ajam Brahma Yat Tannatosmi. This is a prayer. Every creation need not be successful in achieving its objective of being created. There is always a possibility of vigna, pratibandha, obstacle. The obstacle can be there in the work itself getting completed. You start a work, there is no guarantee that the work will get completed because all factors are not under our control. In anything that we do, there are always drishta things and there are adrishta things. The things which are seen by us, unseen factors are also there. In anything, any undertaking has the visible support, visible obstruction, invisible support and invisible obstruction. So when someone is trying to write some work, book, commentary, there can be invisible obstructions to it. Vigna can be there, which might hinder completion of it. And even if the book is completed, it has to reach the intended audience for some time so that it becomes useful and meets its purpose, correct? For both these reasons, all the works generally start with a prayer. But how can prayer help you remove the invisible obstructions? The invisible obstructions or pratibandha or vignam are generally classified under adrishtam. The karya karanavada, what can be the reason for an invisible obstruction or invisible support, is in the karma model. It is generally the karma, punya papa, which are called adrishtas. And that adrishta punya papa is what is seen as something which makes something successful or fail or delayed, whatever it is. Some vigna is there in that form. So to counteract it, prayers are generally done. Here too, Bhagavad Acharya himself is making these two prayers. And the prayers are obviously on the Param Brahma. So two slokas are there up front. One directly says, Paramam Ritam Ajam Brahma Yat Natosmi. I remain prostrated to that Brahman, which is Param, which is Amritam, and which is Ajam. Paramam Ritam Ajam. Param Amritam Ajam. Okay. Amritam Brahma, Ajam Brahma, Param Brahma, Tad Brahma Yat Natosmi. That Brahman which is beyond time and space, that is what Param means. Param means it transcends. Transcends what? It transcends time. It transcends space. What do you mean by some transcend? What is within the time and space can't transcend it. When we say Brahma transcends time and space, that means time and space themselves depend on Brahma for their existence. That because of which time and space exist has to be transcending time and space. Simple. How can it transcend? Because when I say time, what is time? Time is a superimposition on the present. The truth is always the moment. The present moment is the truth. When past happened, it happened as present. When future will happen, it will happen as present. So the basic truth is the present, the now. The now is the only truth. Everything is a memory superimposed on it. When I say 1 hour, it comprises of many minutes, 60 minutes. When I say minute, it comprises of 60 seconds. When I say second, what is a second? There are many present moments. So that's where it gets into microsecond, nanosecond, and all that. Finally, it is down to this moment, which is what is the truth. And then you are superimposing memory of the presence of the past and the anticipations of the presence of the future. That becomes your time. And the present depends on what? The awareness. And on the awareness is what is superimposed, what is called time. So when you look at the Brahma, the time is swallowed. That is why Ishvara is called Kala Kala, the one who ends the time. Kala Samhara Murti is what is called. Not that Yamadharma comes, that is all figurative stories. From a Tatparya, when you do this vichara, the Param Brahma, in Param Brahma, the Kala itself resolves. Kalandaka, Kala Kala. All these are Ishvara, Bhagavan. So Param, this Brahma is beyond time, because of which time's existence itself is, and that existence also is Mithya, not a true existence. Then Amritam, that which does not have end. Param also is Amritam only, we said. Time, we said. Spatially also it is Param. Before we come to Amritam, let us look at Param fully. Spatially also it is Param, because space exists dependent on what is the Brahman. And all the objects, any object you take, it is a collection of other things. One thing is always a collection of another thing. Any one thing that you object, if I take this cloth, cloth comprises of the threads. So though I say this is a cloth, but then I have to say it is, what is a cloth? It's a collection of threads, yarn, fabric, and that is collection of cotton tissues. And when you say what are tissues, it's a collection of set of atoms. What are atoms? Bunch of energy or molecules, electron and all that. Again, you ask more, it goes on and on and on. Because every object you take wall. What is wall? We already saw, I think, in one of the sessions. It is bricks, mortar, cement. It's a collection. And each one of them, again, it's a collection. Vachalambanam, Vikaro, Namadheyam. And finally, all these resolve into Brahma. So it is Param Brahma. And Amritam Brahma, which does not have an end. Because we said time itself is in Brahma. How can it end? What ends it? Because there is nothing other than it. Therefore, it is Amritam. It is also Ajam, unborn. When the moment you have said it is beyond time, it can't be born in time. There can be Aja, which is Mritam, things that are born but go away in time. I mean, anything which is born anyway go away in time. There are things which are unborn, which can go away in time, like ignorance. Ignorance, you can't say was born in a time, but it goes away in time. So anything which is unborn doesn't mean that it doesn't have death. But here, it's neither born nor has an end. That Brahma natosmi. I remain saluted means it is not like one time I salute and leave it. I remain saluted means I am always undifferentiated. I remain with that Brahma. That is the core prayer that Bhashyakara starts with. And this Brahma is a third person at this time. As though it's an object, he says, Natosmi. But in the second shloka, he uses Turiyam Vigata Gunaganaha Patu. May the Turiya, which is devoid of all the attributes, Nirguna, Swarupa, Atma, because Turiyaha, masculine, Asau Turiyaha, Naha Patu, Asmakam Patu, may it protect all of us. That is the second shloka. The first shloka, the prayer is looking at it as a Brahman. The second one, it is looking at it as a Nirguna Swarupas, that is Atma Swarupa. Both are same. That's why it's like a Mahavakya said in 2 slokas. So it is, first one is called Vidhi, second one is Nisheda. Vidhi Mukha and Nisheda Mukha. This is, what is Vidhi Mukha and Nisheda Mukha? So somebody has said, if you are reading from the text on screen, could you please use the pointer and show? No. At this time, I'm not. Brahma is here for people who want to. And I spoke about Param, Amritam, Ajam. This is what we spoke so far. Param, Amritam, Ajam, Brahma. So that Brahma, I remain saluted. So Vidhi means it's a positive way of telling something. It's called Lakshana Vakyas, defining words for what is Brahma. Like in Taittiriya, the words used are Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. So the word Satyam comes from the root as bhuvi, right? Sat is. In English, it's is, is. Something is. When I say cloth is, it talks about an existence, right? There is something. But this is within time and space. It earlier not was, right? Maybe 5 years back, it got spun. Before that, this cloth was not there. So the is was, the is, when I say the cloth is, means it was born in time and it will go away in time. So when any one object in the world, when I say is there, it implies it was born at some time and it is going to go away at another time. Anything you take, including mountains, suns and stars, it was all to have come up, because anything which is changing means it was in some other form earlier, it has come together, it has a lifespan, right? So it is within the time and space is the isness. So the moment I say Satyam, something is Satyam in the world, that means it has been there in some point of time. Devadatta was born on 2nd March 1980, and Devadatta is Satyam till his existence. Now, is it the same with Brahman? So Satyam Brahma is a definition. We are talking about Vidhimukha words. But Shastra says it's not only Satyam, the Brahma is Anantam, unlimited, from time and space. So the word meaning of is taken, but the time and space element are given up. Limitations are given up. That is called Bhagatyaga Lakshanam. Part of the word, part of the partial meaning of the word, which is limiting meaning, is given up. And then you are directed towards that which is beyond time and space. What is it here that transcends time and space? That is Brahman. That is a Vidhimukha definition. Anvaya Vetireka. What is always there? That is Anvayam. What continues in every cognition, whether you see a book, whether you see the stars, whether you see the moon, or whether you are in deep sleep, what continues is Anvaya. What comes and goes is Vetireka. What comes and goes cannot be your Swarupa. What is always there has to be your Swarupa. That is the Anvaya. So in Vidimukha Vakyas, these are Lakshana Vakyas. So this sloka also is trying to give a definition of Vidhi. Vidhi as in a positive way to tell what is Brahman. But even though we say it is positive, these are qualified only. Qualified positive. See, we say Brahman is Shuddham. Shuddham Brahma. When I say Shuddham Brahma, means what? There is no Ashuddha ever. Because Shuddha can become Ashuddha. Shuddha, let's say there is Shuddha water. Pure water. Pure water can always become impure, right? Anytime something falls on it, it can become impure. So Shuddham means it can be temporary. I'm talking about Vidhi Mukha. Vidhi means, see, in the Shastra, Vidhi and Nisheda are two things. Generally, in Karma Kanda, we say Vidhi and Nisheda. Means what should be done, what should be avoided. Nisheda. Nisheda means you shouldn't do this. Vidhi means you should do this. Satyam Bruyat. Priyam Bhuyat. Satyam Apriyam Na Bruyat. Like that it says, right? Kalanjam na bhakshayet. Don't drink liquor. Or don't eat meat. Kalanjam means meat. Suram na pibet. These are Nisheda Vakyas. Satyam vada. May you tell truth. Like that Vidhi. So generally the positive and negative. That's a positive way of telling something. Negative. So Brahman generally are set in two things. This is Brahma, which is Lakshana, definition. Another thing is Neti, Neti, Neti. It is not this, not this, not this, not this. Okay. So why both are used? See, generally, though we say positive word, it is actually not positive. It is also only removing the negative of it. In this, I'll tell you why. Because we have already said Brahman is non-objectifiable. Correct? This is a phone. This is a cloth. This is my hand. This is a wall. This is space. This is light. These are all what? Objectified things. It is based on perception. So it is based on perception. Space is inferred, for example. It's not direct perception. Okay, in a way it is perception because I see a gap between me and this laptop. So I am inferring that is something which we call as space, the dimensionality aspect. So perception, inference, arthapati, whatever. These are based on perception. I am perceiving that the laptop is far away. So there is a space. So perception is the basis for all this jnana. Now, is Brahma objectifiable? No, because it is not an object. It is a subject. So a subject is not objectifiable at all. But does it need to be objectified? Because of which everything is getting objectified. Why should that? Why is it needed to be objectified? You don't have to objectify. Then what do you have to do? What is the problem? The problem is you don't know what your subject, your Swarupa is. When I say you don't know what your Swarupa is, it doesn't mean that you totally don't know, but you are taking it as something else. And that something else is mixed up with your Swarupa. It is not totally something else. You are not taking this wall to be you. You are not taking some cow which is going on the road to be you, right? That is not what you are taking. You are taking I to be the I, but that I is a mixed up I right now. So what do you have to do? You just have to remove the part of it, which is your non-I, that you are taking as I. And by removing the non-I, your Swarupa, which anyway has to be self-revealing, becomes revealed. That is how the words work. Now, when I say it is a positive vidimukha way of saying, there also, in a sense, we have to only remove the unwanted things. So that is why if I say Satyam Brahma, though it is a vidimukha, actually you have to say Nitya Satyam, or not even Nitya Satyam, Ananta Satyam. Shuddha means Nitya Shuddha, Nitya Buddha, Nitya Mukta, like that. Why do you have to qualify it with Nitya? The Nitya only makes it a Lakshanam of Brahman. Eternally Shuddham, eternally Muktam. It's not like sometimes it was Shuddha, now it is Ashuddha, again it will become Shuddha. That is not Brahman. It is untouched by any Ashuddha, is Brahman. So it is in a way also Ashuddhatvam, the temporariness, all that it is removing. So, but still the Shuddhatvam is used. Shuddham Brahma is a positive only. But Nirmalam Brahma, if you say, it also means Shuddha only, but it is without Mala. Then also you are removing the Mala. That is called Nisheda Vakyas, that which removes. So in this second shloka, Vigata Guna Ganaha Turiyaha, without it, devoid of all guna, groups of guna, what is remains is that Turiya, and may that Rakshatu, may that protect. Means it, you are telling that by removing everything what is. So it's just another way. This is why it is called Anvaya Vyatireka. Apavada is done of all that is not that. So that is why we use, the Acharya has used both. Just see, there is also a liberty of a creator, right? So I want to use both ways so that it becomes clearer for people. Paramajam Brahma Natosmi. Param Ajam Brahma, Amritam Brahma Natosmi. And what does it do? Naha Bojayanne Vartate. Where is it? Bojayanne Naha. Naha means Asmakam. For us, it is feeding. Feeding with what? Various experiences. In the waken, in the dream, in the deep sleep, whatever is the experience, it is being fed by what? The Jagat only, Brahman only, the Ishvara only. What are you going to do today? What are you going to encounter today is not in your control. Next 1 hour, who you will visit, what thoughts will come to you, what incidents are going to unfold. It is not in your hands. It just comes. Based on your Punya Papa is a model. We say because of your Punya and Papa, all this is happening. It's a model. But then, for which Punya, what effect has to come? Which Papa, what effect has to come? And you have certain Punya Papa from so many births. Someone around you has their own Punya Papa in so many births. Now, which Punya and Papa of you on this day and which Punya Papa of somebody else who is your spouse or your kids or whatever on that particular day have to come together to create an experience. Who decides that? So who is giving this, all this boga, these experiences for you? That Bojayannaha is Brahma. In this, from a Samashti perspective, it is the same Brahma, your Swarupa, which is Ishvara. That is what is called Parameshvara. The Brahma, which is giver of Bhoga for you, means all that attributes now come into play. That's why when we have to understand Vedanta very clearly. Okay, though we say it dismisses only from Swarupa perspective. When I say pot is nothing but clay, only the Satyatvam of potness is dismissed. But can pot still hold water? Of course it does. I cannot, put the pot upside down and then say, hey, this is only clay. That is why it is not holding water. No. Pot can still hold water within the Vyavahara. Like that, Ishvara from a Srishti Jiva perspective, we accept as an empirical reality. But Satyatvam, it is Satyam because it is Brahma. We are not saying Ishvara is Asatyam, no. We are saying Ishvara Satyatvam is that Ishvara is Brahman. Jiva Satyatvam is also because it is Brahman. Therefore, there is Abheda. Like a pot is clay, the lid is also clay. So they both are same from a clay perspective. The lump of clay also is clay. Surupataha, they are same. There is nothing called potness, Surupataha. But that doesn't mean it can't hold water. Like that, Ishvara is Ishvara. But Surupataha, Ishvara is Brahma. So we are not so we need, that is where people have gone. Why we have to say that is because people went astray because they thought Vedanta is like an Astikavadi. Like they call it as like Shankaracharya is like a Buddha because he came and said everything is Maya. He doesn't say everything is Maya. He says everything is Brahma. All these attributes you are saying is Mithya because it is dependent on Brahma. And how this dependent Mithya is created? By Maya. Therefore, Mayaya Bhojayannaha. The Ishvara, which is making you have all these experiences through this Maya. They as though experience because there is no Vastu there. Even the experience itself again resolves into the present. Any experience is nothing but the present. So what is that overall experience? Is Maya Karya. Because there is no truth in it. Other than it being the present, which is Brahma. So Bhojayita, that is Ishvara. But Samashti, whatever you see all together is Bhojayita. That is called, in Vekan it is called Virat. Stula Prapancha is called Virat. Sukshma Prapancha is called Hiranyagarbha. Like in your dream, your existence is Sukshma Sharira. Like that Samashti Sukshma, the totality of Sukshma is called Hiranyagarbha. Deep sleep, you are Avidya. Avidya Upahita Chaitanyam. And then Samashti of that is Ishvara. Maya Upahita Chaitanya. It's a model just to understand the Vyashti Samashti, individual and the total. And that Samashti is the Bhojayita and you are the Bhokta, the eater. You are a consumer, the experiencer, Pramata. For one, the whole experience is unfolding is the Jiva. That which is unfolding everything is Ishvara. That is the Jiveshvara. You have to understand what is Jiva, what is Ishvara. But all this unfolding okay. So some of these questions, if we go to that, then we'll get this. But yes, so you have to understand it as the moment we say Bhojayita, Bhokta, and all that, the one who is making you experience, that you are experienced, all this is also within Mithya only, Maya Karyam only. It is a model just to understand Veshti Samashti. It's all one, is what is the vision. Just see that there is a truth in it, isn't it? This Panchabhuta is how everything else is. Bhutatmaka only Prapancha is, right? It is either a solid or a liquid or a gas or heat or spatiality or a combination of those. That is what everything is. Whether it is Mars or Jupiter or Uranus or Sun or any other star, it is a combination of these 5 elements. And this body also is 5 elements. Your mind also is made up of 5 elements. So it is a samashti. You are part of the whole. It's a model. Vyashti is always part of every part. You are only a part because you are formed of this. The body is what? It's only the food you have eaten which has transformed itself to this body. Annam brahmeti vyajanat. In Taittiriya it comes. When Varuna's son Bhrigu went and did penance, Bhrigu said, go and do penance. Tapasa Brahma Vijijñāsasva. May you go and do penance. Understand Brahman and come. He goes and does penance. Penance means what? Vicharatmakam tapaha. He does vichara and then comes back and says, because before going for penance, Bhrigu says, Yatova imani bhutani jayante, yena jatani jivanti, yatprayanti abhisham vishanti, tadvijijñāsasva. May you go and understand that because of which all this is born, into which everything goes back, by which everything is sustained. That is what is Brahman. You go and find out what is that Brahman. So Bhrigu goes and he does vichara. What is it because of which everything is born? What is it because of which everything is sustained? What is it unto which everything goes back? Then he concludes it is food only. That is his first conclusion. Because everything is born of food, some kind of food. Adyate atticha bhutani. So something feeds and something comes out. Correct? Even if it is the mountain, it is because of some volcano. That is a food for mountain to come, isn't it? So everything, my human body also is food based. Plants are also food. They have their own food. So it is a food which has transformed itself to different thing, and then everything goes back to food. Therefore, food alone is everything. Is his first conclusion. So he comes back and says, Annam Brahma iti vyajanat. Then Varuna says, no. Go again. Do some more penance and come back. And then he comes back. That goes on. Now we can't take that full class on Taittiriya. But the point is, it is samashti. Annam is samashti. Everything is annam. And that annam only is this body. So it is part of the whole food chain. Correct? So we have to understand the samashti and vyashti. If in everything, air, there is a samashti, there is a vyashti. Heat, there is a samashti, there is vyashti. And as in samashti context, heat behaves in a certain way. In vyashti context, heat behaves in a certain way. So how do they function? It's a conscious function. So we say there is an adhishtana devata, presiding deity, which makes your body functions possible. Similarly, same presiding deity is there in samashti. So Vayu is a presiding deity for wind. Now the same Vayu only is making your prana regulation, your breathing. That is adhishtana because it's a conscious thing. It's a conscious order, correct? The wind has to blow in a certain way. It has to blow in a way that the clouds can come. The clouds have to come so that there can be rain. It is all as a conscious order built. Then only the symbiotic existence is possible. The life is there because it has a certain heat proposition. It has the necessary rainwater available to you. The food is generated. Light is there for you to see. The breath has to come in so that wind can blow. All this can't be an unconsciously, it just happens. How can it just happen? So much of intelligence. For you to see something, how much of intelligence is gone to create that eye? You can't say nature. See, nature means, is it an intelligent nature? If it is an intelligent nature, that is what we are calling as Bhagavan. There has to be an intelligence. No? If the eyes have to see, just to create one lens, that is an addition to your eyes. How much of intelligence that we have to put to create that one lens, concave or convex lens. It is like 1/1,000,000th of what your eyes are actually doing, isn't it? The retina, the whole nervous system, how it goes to the brain, how the object that you are seeing, it is visual, it is seen within your brain. Means there's so much of software and hardware which has been created. And can it be general evolution automatically? How automatic? How have you seen anything automatically being created so intelligently? So there has to be a conscious order, and it's not like one time created and it's continuously also going on. That is a samashti order, intelligent order, and you are a part of that vyashti. Therefore, bhojayannaha. You are a bhokta, Bhagavan is bhojayita. One is karta, the other is karma phala data. You do a karma and the phala data is Ishvara, another conscious order. Then only your karma can have a phala. Some conscious order has to say, this person has done this punya, that means for this punya, this particular result has to come, and it has to come at this, in this birth at this time. And that punya also, if you are punya, you are getting some benefit. You cannot get the benefit unless the situation is conducive. Suppose you have done a punya, okay? We take an example. Suppose your punya means you should be able to enjoy, say, some sweet, rasamalai. Enjoying rasamalai is the benefit of a punya you did, say, in 3 births before. Suppose it's been given. Now, the person who is going to feed the rasamalai, suppose he today has a papa which is unfolding for him. And that papa is, that rasamalai that he makes will become salty. Say, I'm just saying. Then you can't have that bhoga of rasamalai. No? Your punya you can't experience because somebody else's papa is interfering with that. No, again there has to be a symbiosis. Which punya of you, when it fructifies, which punya or papa or whatever it is happening for the people linked to you in a conducive way, right? All these complexities are there. What do you get when? How do you benefit from it? What are others? So everything has to be in place. Again, that is where samashti has to come. The karma phala data has to be there. Who links your karma to the phala? Who links the situation to your karma phala? All that is there. So even in the karma model, the karma adhyaksha has to be there as samashti ishvara. Otherwise, you can't accept this karma model. It won't work. So this is a karta bhokta, and Bhagavan is the karma phala data samashti. So bhojayannaha. That way also Brahman is bhojayannaha. Veshti is karya karana sangata, samashti is vishwa, taijasa and all that. So that kind of bhojayannaha nataha asmi. I remain saluted means there is no gap between Atma and Brahman, Jiva and Ishvara, always part recognizing that samashti. That's what it means. Okay, now this is Mayaya bhojayannaha param amrutam ajam brahma yat. Why yat? That yat means that Brahma means how? That means is it familiar to you? It is familiar in Vedantic parlance. That kind of a Brahma natosmi. Okay, this is what Shankaracharya has said. What is this prayer addressed towards? Who it is addressed towards? Now he uses the other parts of the shloka to link that Brahma to Jiva, or it is actually the Vyashti Samashti together. What is it that Brahman is? Now he does it using the same Karya Karana methodology, Srishti methodology that is brought out in this Mandukya. So he is technically introducing the whole subject matter through this verse. That is what is the remaining. So what is that Brahman? Prajnanam Shuk Pratanaihi. Again, I am just repeating this. So far, whatever I said, I don't think I covered to this extent in the last session. But Prajnanam Shuk and all we covered in detail. So I will quickly cover it because we don't want to just repeat it. Whoever wants to get a more detailed thing, they can always look at the video which is there from last class. Again, all these things, when you listen multiple times only, it becomes clearer. Okay, so it is always worthwhile to go back to that session, because within 1 hour, obviously, everybody's mind also has a certain retention. Certain times only you can listen, right? In the sense, all 1 hour, especially when the Vedanta and all, it's a little heavy. So mind also cannot continuously focus on something for 1 hour, especially when it is little deep like Vedanta, isn't it? So it is natural that in between, every now and then, the chain of thoughts would have been broken. Again, you would have come back to listening. So those things, you can always bridge the missed out parts when you listen to the video. Okay, so those who have missed the class session last time also, listen to that. So I will quickly do it, because anyway we have 9 minutes left today. Prajnanamshu pratanaihi. Amshavaha means kirana, the rays. So the rays of prajna. Prajna means is the Chaitanya. We already explained in the last class what is prajna. That which is the core Chaitanya, the conscious awareness, is what is prajna. And amsha is used. Kirana, the way I explained in the last class was, the kirana is, when I am seeing a pot, I have the pot vritti, pot awareness. So in the form of the pot is my mind's vritti. So the mind assumes the form of the pot, then my pot jnana, knowledge of pot, has taken place. So that is vritti vyapakatvam is there in pot. Gata vyapaka vritti. So the gatam is vyaptam by my vritti. There is a pervaded, the pot is pervaded by my buddhi vritti. That is amsha, rays of my prajna. Another way is, this prajnanamshu is the amsha, the ray is the chidabhasa also. They take, some of the Tikakaras will take it as chidabhasa, the reflection of the original consciousness. See, this original consciousness and all, it's a little, it can mislead, but generally understand, it is not the Purna Chaitanya, but some kind of a reflection in the Upadhi. It's a model. Like the sun is, we saw that, no? Abhasavada and all that. Reflection of that Brahma in this Upadhi, that is Prajnanamshu. Through this Chidabhasa, so many jivas, Vyapya Lokan, the whole world is pervaded. So it is the Brahman which is pervading the world through all these jivas. One way of looking at it. Another way is, the experience itself is what? Is only my vritti. And when I say my is also, me is also a vritti. Other is also, you are also a vritti for me. And me also is a vritti for me. The whole experience that is happening here is vritti, 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 right? Everything is vritti only. There is a mountain means what? There is a mountain vritti. There is sun means there is a sun vritti. There is moon means there is a moon vritti. It is vritti. So it is all sukshma vritti only, that is the world experience. It's one chitsabha natanam. It is the dance of the consciousness, which is this jagat. Therefore, Bhashyakara says, Prajnanamshu pratanaihi. Pratana means vistaraihi. By manifestation of this prajna, which is the conscious dance, it is pervading the loka, means lokyate iti lokaha vishayaha. Through this antakaranas, everything is pervaded in the form of vritti. Vyapya lokan. You want me to focus? Prajnanamshu pratanaihi. Through this amsha of prajna, conscious, sthirachara nikara vyapibihi vyapya lokan. Sthirachara nikara means all that is moving and unmoving, means all that exists. Sthirachara covers everything. Either something is moving or not moving. Sthira means not moving. Chara means moving. Whether it is inert or conscious, either it is moving or not moving. Tree is conscious but not moving. Wind is not conscious but is moving. So everything which is either moving or not moving means all that is here is lo vyapya, is all pervaded by what? This buddhi vritti. That is Sthula Bhuta Prapancha is pervaded by this. Vyapya lokan bhuktva bhogan. And by that pervading, what does it do? This jiva does. It's undergoing experiences. Bhuktva bhogan. Experiences what? Stavishtan. All the hard experiences, the mountain is experience. My body is, because fully you are available. When? In the vacant state. In the vacant state, the one is eating because there are hard experiences. Then punarapi dishanodbhasitan. Dishana udbhasitan. By the buddhi itself, nirmitan, udbhasitan means set up by the buddhi. Where? In the dream. In the dream, everything is set up by the buddhi only, based on its experiences. And that also, the same jiva is drinking. Because it is subtle. There is no tangible thing there, right? Like a mountain. But the experience is the same. Whether I experience it in the dream or experiencing it here, it is all buddhi vritti experience only. The mountain experience is mountain vritti. Whether it is vacant or in the dream. So it is a subtle vritti. So as an experiencer, I experience the mountain. That's it. But it is a subtle. That's why he says pitva. He drinks. Also, having eaten every hard experience, having drunk every subtle experience, then there is no experience. Sarvan Viseshan, Pitva, all the differences are drunk or eaten. Then Swapiti, Swamapiti. So it is back in itself by during deep sleep. There is no outwardly experience. Every experience is now in a potential form, unmanifest form. And Madhura book, it is happy. Just Madhuratvam, it is enjoying in deep sleep. And to that prajna, who is the Bhojaita? Who is feeding all this experience? He is the Param Amritam Brahma. It is the same prajna. And it is the one which is feeding. From a Vyashti perspective, individual perspective, this is eating. From Samashti perspective, it is feeding. It is the same Brahma which in a Leela is having this experience. And I am recognizing that Samashti. I am part of that Samashti. Therefore, Nataha Asmi. I am not away from it. So I remain prostrated to that Brahma. So now this is a prayer, but at the same time, it is also giving you the vision of what is this Upanishad trying to show. It shows that everything is one. It is as though you are experiencer and Bhagavan is as though giving you experience. But it is all just one thing. Like I am one person, there is this hand, there is this head. Everything as though there is a separate hand, separate head. But in this case, these are individual parts. Whereas in the case of Brahma and Jiva, everything else is Adhyasikam. Brahman is Kutastha, unchanging. It is supporting all the change. And the changingness or change itself is Mithya. That which supports all that is Satyam. And Satya Swarupa is what is to be understood. And you can understood the Satya when in your mind you remove all the Mithya. What is it that is present as Brahma? What is it that is as the experiencer? That is Turiyam. So now it has defined all that is here, right? What happening? That is why it is Vidimukha. In Nisheda, again the same thing, because he has to use this. He is again using the second shloka also to show the same subject matter. So it is going to talk about the waken, dream, and the deep sleeper, even in the second shloka. But then show that all that is Vigata Gunaganaha Turiyaha. The fourth, which is devoid of all this, the fourth quarter, and that which is devoid of all these qualities is the Turiya, and may that protect us. So there everything is dismissed and only Turiya is left back. In this case, everything together as an Ishvara is what is shown, and that is why it is a Vidimukha. Okay, we will see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.